It's 0400 hours on September 2nd, 2025, and tensions in the southern Caribbean have boiled over. The U.S. launches a limited missile strike on Venezuela, targeting the alleged cartel of the Suns, accused of drug trafficking. Here's what the first 24 hours could look like, based on the U.S. naval forces deployed in Venezuela's defenses. Buckle up for a high-stakes scenario. The operation begins in international waters, 100 miles off Venezuela's coast. At 0400 hours, the USS Gravely, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, and the USS Newport News, a Los Angeles-class nuclear submarine, receive orders to fire Tomahawk cruise missiles. The target? A suspected cartel of the Suns Command Center in Puerto La Cruz, a key oil port, and a drug storage facility near Caracas, identified through P-8A Poseidon surveillance. The Gravely launches 12 Tomahawk missiles from its 96-cell vertical launch system, streaking low over the Caribbean to evade Venezuela's S-300 VM air defenses. The Newport News, submerged and undetected, fires 6 Tomahawks from its torpedo tubes, targeting a coastal radar station to disrupt Venezuelan early warning systems. Each missile carries a 1,000-pound warhead, designed for precision strikes. The missiles hit their targets by 0430, leveling the command center and storage facility, with secondary explosions suggesting stored contraband. The U.S. avoids civilian areas to minimize collateral damage, focusing on cartel infrastructure tied to Maduro's regime. But Venezuela's response is swift. By 0600, Venezuela's military scrambles. Maduro, speaking from a secure bunker, declares a state of war and activates 15,000 troops along the coast. Venezuela's S-300 VM systems, supplied by Russia, detect incoming USP-8A Poseidon aircraft conducting follow-up surveillance. At 0630, Venezuela fires 2 Igla-S surface-to-air missiles, downing AP-8A 50 miles from shore, escalating the conflict. Venezuelan patrol boats, armed with Chinese C-802A anti-ship missiles, sortie from La Guaira, targeting the USS Jason Dunham, patrolling 80 miles out. The Dunham's Aegis system intercepts 1 missile with a standard missile, 2, but a second C-802A grazes the ship, causing minor damage and 10 casualties. The USS Sampson responds, launching 8 Tomahawks at the La Guaira naval base, destroying 2 patrol boats and a missile battery. The tit-for-tat strikes heighten tensions. China condemns the U.S. action via an emergency UN session, while Colombia reinforces its border, wary of escalation. By 1000 hours, the U.S. escalates with air operations. Although the current task force lacks a carrier, we assume a rapid reinforcement from the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, diverted from the Atlantic. At 1100, 6 F/A-18 Hornets, launched from the Eisenhower, conduct airstrikes on a Venezuelan airbase near Maracay, targeting MiG-29 fighters to prevent retaliatory air raids. The Hornets deploy joint direct attack munitions dams, destroying 3 MiGs on the ground. Venezuela's S-300 VM systems engage, downing 1 F/A-18 with a surface-to-air missile. The pilot ejects, landing in international waters, and is rescued by a USS Iwo Jima helicopter. Meanwhile, the USS Lake Erie, a Ticonderoga-class cruiser, fires 10 Tomahawks at a second cartel logistics hub in Valencia, disrupting supply lines. Venezuela's 5,000 Igla-S shoulder-fired missiles, distributed to militias, limit further U.S. air operations by threatening low-flying aircraft. The U.S. avoids deploying the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Units, 2,200 Marines from the USS Iwo Jima, San Antonio, and Fort Lauderdale, recognizing a ground incursion would face millions of militia and risk a quagmire. By 1600, both sides pause. The U.S. task force, with 4,000 to 4,500 personnel, repositions 150 miles from Venezuela's coast to avoid further anti-ship missile threats. Maduro mobilizes civilian militias in Caracas, arming thousands with rifles and Igla-S missiles, while 15,000 troops fortify coastal defenses. No U.S. ground troops are deployed, as the Pentagon focuses on precision strikes to avoid a broader war. China and Russia push for a UN ceasefire resolution, while Mexico and Colombia urge de-escalation. At 2000 hours, a USP-8A Poseidon resumes surveillance, confirming damage to cartel sites, but detecting increased Venezuelan drone activity. By midnight, both sides hold fire, wary of further escalation. The USS Newport News remains submerged, monitoring Venezuelan naval movements, while the USS Gravely and Sampson prepare for potential additional strikes. As dawn approaches on September 3rd, the situation is a tense stalemate. The U.S. has struck key cartel targets, but Maduro's regime remains intact, bolstered by militia support and Chinese backing. After 24 hours, the U.S. has fired 36 Tomahawk missiles from the USS Gravely, USS Sampson, USS Lake Erie, and USS Newport News, destroying a cartel command center, a storage facility, a radar station, a naval base, and an airbase. 1P, 8A Poseidon, and 1F/A, 18 are lost, with the USS Jason Dunham lightly damaged. Venezuela loses 2 patrol boats, 3 MiGs, and key infrastructure, with an estimated 50 to 100 military casualties and minimal civilian deaths due to precision targeting. The end result? A fragile standoff. Maduro's regime is weakened but defiant, rallying 4.5 million militiamen and leveraging China's support. The U.S. achieves its goal of disrupting cartel operations, but faces international backlash and no clear path to regime change. No ground troops are deployed, and further airstrikes are paused due to Venezuela's S-300VM and Igla-S defenses. The Caribbean remains a powder keg, with diplomacy now critical to avoid a wider conflict. What happens next? War, diplomacy, or more posturing? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated on this unfolding crisis. Outro. Information based on a hypothetical scenario using real U.S. naval capabilities as of September 1st, 2025. Be sure to hit that like button for me, share this with your peers, and subscribe to the channel if you would like to stay informed on future events.